Schalke 04 finish second in the Bundesliga and qualify for the Champions League. They face Manchester City in the round of 16, one of the best clubs in the world at the time. 30 games without a win, a streak that humiliated a century-old institution. Relegated. With only 16 points from 34 games, a goal difference of -61. 3 wins in an entire season. In less than 3 years, one of Germany's greatest clubs had collapsed completely. But how? Who is Schalke 04? To understand the scale of this fall, you first need to understand the size of what came crashing down. Schalke 04 is not just any club in Germany. Founded in 1904 in the city of Gelsenkirchen, in the heart of the industrial Ruhr region, the club was born among miners and factory workers. An identity built on hard work, grit, and loyalty, values their fan base carries to this day. 7 German championship titles, 5 DFB Pokals, and in 1997, the most glorious moment in the club's history, the UEFA Cup, won in a dramatic final against Inter Milan. But what truly defines Schalke is not the trophies. It's the fans. 160,000 registered members. At the time of their relegation, Schalke was the second largest sports club in Germany and the 4th largest in the entire world, behind only Bayern Munich, Benfica, and Boca Juniors. And the numbers inside the stadium say everything. In the season they were relegated, with the team fighting against the drop for months, Schalke still averaged 61,000 fans per game, the 3rd highest in the Bundesliga. In the 2nd division, that number didn't fall. 61,000 people kept showing up week after week to watch a team that was sinking. That's not support. That's faith. Schalke is also recognized as one of Europe's greatest talent factories. Mesut Ozil, Manuel Neuer, Leon Goretzka, Leroy Sané, Joel Matip, all of them came through the club's academy. A club with this history, this fan base, and this ability to produce players had no business being where it was in 2021. But it was. And the road that led there began precisely at the moment when everything seemed perfect. The peak, 2018. The 2017-18 season was, for many Schalke supporters, proof that the club had finally reached the level of Europe's elite. Under manager Domenico Tedesco, just 32 years old at the time, Schalke built one of the most solid campaigns in the Bundesliga. Defensively organized, intense, and hard to break down, the team finished the season in 2nd place, behind only the untouchable Bayern Munich. Runners-up. Champions League football secured. The fans believed. The board believed. And there was reason to. The squad had quality players. Naldo, Briel Mbolo, Guido Burgstaller, Daniel Caligiuri, and above all, a midfield that functioned with precision and intensity. In the Champions League, Schalke made it through the group stage and into the round of 16. The opponent? Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's side, one of the best teams in the world at that moment. In the first leg, in Manchester, Schalke were dismantled, 3-2 to City. But the scoreline didn't tell the full story. City were superior in every aspect. In the return leg, in Gelsenkirchen, in front of 62,000 fans packed inside the Veltins Arena, Schalke needed a miracle. What came was a nightmare. 7-0. Manchester City. At home, in front of their own supporters. One of the heaviest defeats in Champions League round of 16 history. And what nobody knew at that moment was that the 7-0 wasn't just a humiliating loss. It was the first warning sign of what was coming, the disastrous management. To understand Schalke's financial collapse, you need to know 2 names, Clemens Tönnies and Christian Heidel. Tönnies had been club president since 2001, owner of Germany's largest meat processing company, With a fortune estimated at $1.5 billion according to Forbes, he had injected millions into the club over the years. Under his leadership, Schalke won 3 DFB Pokals, finished as Bundesliga runners-up 5 times, and qualified for the Champions League on 10 occasions. He was the club's most powerful figure, its main financial source, and the central character in everything that was to follow. In 2016, Tönnies brought in Christian Heidel as sporting director. Heidel had built a strong reputation at Mainz 05, a smaller club he had transformed into a tactical reference point in the Bundesliga. His arrival at Schalke was celebrated as a step towards modernizing the club. What followed was the opposite. In less than 3 years, Heidel burned through approximately 150 million euros on signings that simply didn't work. Bril Mbolo, 26 million euros, sold for 11 million. Nabil Bentaleb, 19 million euros, left for free. Sebastian Rudy, 16 million euros, left for free. Konoplyanka, 12 million euros, left for free. Expensive players who failed to deliver on the pitch and left without generating any financial return for the club. But the damage didn't stop there, because while Schalke was spending badly on the wrong signings, they were also wasting what they had that was most valuable: their own academy products. Joel Matip, 23 years old, over 250 appearances for the club, valued at 20 million euros, left for free to Liverpool. Sead Kolasinac, 23 years old, one of the best left-backs in the Bundesliga, valued at 20 million euros, left for free to Arsenal. Max Meyer, 22 years old, considered one of Germany's brightest young talents, left for free to Crystal Palace. Leon Goretzka, 23 years old, arguably the best midfielder in the Bundesliga at that time, valued at least 40 million euros, left for free to Bayern Munich. Alexander Nubel, 23 years old, Germany under-21 goalkeeper, seen as the next Manuel Neuer, left for free, also to Bayern Munich. Over 4 years, Schalke lost more than 120 million euros in players they had developed from youth level and received nothing in return. Adding the failed signings to the academy talents lost for free, the total financial damage exceeded 200 million euros. For a club already carrying significant debt, this was a bill that could never be paid. And the worst was still to come. The president's scandal. In August 2019, Clemens Tönnies was speaking at a public event when he made a statement that shocked Germany. While discussing global warming and energy alternatives, he suggested that the solution would be to fund power plants in Africa so that Africans would stop having children and reduce carbon emissions worldwide. The reaction was immediate and unanimous. The German Football Association itself recognized the racist nature of his words. Tönnies issued a public apology and temporarily stepped down from his role. But the damage was done. The president's reputation was destroyed, and so was the club's image alongside it. Schalke entered 2020 already fragile. Mounting debts, a squad that wasn't functioning, and a board that had lost all credibility. And then came the pandemic. In May 2020, over 1,000 workers at one of Tunis's meat processing plants tested positive for COVID-19. Investigations revealed that safety protocols and social distancing rules had not been followed inside the facility. The outbreak was so severe that the city of Gütersloh was forced into lockdown, affecting hundreds of thousands of people. The scandal was national. Tönnies became a symbol of irresponsibility in the middle of a global health crisis. Inside the club, the pressure was unsustainable. Fans took to the streets demanding his resignation. In June 2020, Clemens Tönnies stepped down as president of Schalke 04. The man who had been the financial backbone of the club for nearly 2 decades was gone. But the story didn't end there, because there was a connection that few knew about, one that 2 years later would destroy what remained of Schalke's financial structure. Tony's had a close relationship with Vladimir Putin, and through that relationship, Schalke had secured a sponsorship deal with Gazprom, the Russian state energy giant. A substantial contract that injected millions into the club annually and helped maintain investment levels even through difficult times. In February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. Within days, Schalke terminated the Gazprom contract. The company's name was removed from the jerseys. The sponsorship, one of the club's main sources of revenue, had vanished overnight. Schalke had lost their president, lost their main sponsor, and were about to lose something even harder to recover: their dignity on the pitch, the collapse on the pitch. If the financial crisis was the poison, the dressing room was where it did its worst damage. The 2020-21 season began with Schalke already without a president, without a stable sponsor, and with a demoralized squad. What happened on the pitch over the following months was one of the most shameful episodes in recent European football history. The team went on a 30-game winless run in the Bundesliga. 30 games, almost an entire season without a single victory. The streak only failed to set the all-time German record because Schalke beat Hoffenheim in January 2021, the only moment of relief in months of agony. But the numbers don't tell the full story, because while the team was sinking on the pitch, the dressing room was falling apart from the inside. Winger Rabbi Matondo posted a photo on social media wearing a Borussia Dortmund shirt, Schalke's biggest rival. A player at the club in the middle of the season, showing off the enemy's colors for the entire world to see. The reaction was immediate. The fan base was devastated. The board stayed silent. It didn't stop there. Nabil Bentaleb and Amin Harit, two of the highest paid players in the squad, were suspended for misconduct and ordered to train separately from the group. The club issued a cold, bureaucratic statement announcing the punishments without explaining the details. What lingered was the image of a dressing room completely broken apart. And then came the Vedad Ibisevic episode. The Bosnian striker had been signed in September 2020 to bolster the attack. 3 months later, his contract was terminated. The reason? A fight with Naldo, who was serving as the team's assistant coach at the time. A player brought in to solve the team's attacking problems was sacked because of an internal argument in the middle of a relegation battle. Managers came and went without being able to change anything. Each new coach arrived with different ideas, signed different players, created a different environment, and was replaced before anything could work. The squad had become a patchwork without identity, without philosophy, and without leadership. Schalke were not just losing games, they were dissolving. The relegation. On April 17, 2021, Schalke 04 were mathematically relegated to the second division of German football. 5 rounds of the season still remained. There was no suspense, no last-minute drama. The relegation came early, heavy, and inevitable, the logical conclusion of everything that had happened in the years before. The final numbers of the season were hard to look at. 34 games, 16 points, only 3 wins, a goal difference of -61. To put that into perspective, the second-place team in the relegation zone that season finished with 33 points. Schalke had less than half of that. This was not a narrow escape that didn't happen. It was an unprecedented collapse for a club of that stature. The last time Schalke had been relegated was 1988. 33 years without dropping out of the top flight. 3 decades building an identity, a fan base, and a reputation within German and European football. All of it came apart in a single season. But what made that moment even heavier was what happened off the pitch. Because while the players trudged off the field, heads down after yet another defeat, 62,000 supporters remained in the stands. Not booing, singing. Schalke's fans stayed inside the stadium after the relegation was confirmed, applauding the team, chanting the club's songs, showing that their loyalty did not depend on results. It was one of the most contradictory images football could ever produce. A team that had failed at absolutely everything, being sent off with unconditional love by those who had suffered the most. For many, that scene captured everything Schalke stands for. The club had broken from within. The management had destroyed what took decades to build. The players had lost their dignity on the pitch, but the fans were there, as they always had been, as they always will be. And it was precisely that fan base that, in the years that followed, would become the only fuel left to try and rebuild what had been destroyed. The relegation. On April 17, 2021, Schalke 04 were mathematically relegated to the second division of German football. 5 rounds of the season still remained. There was no suspense, no last-minute drama. The relegation came early, heavy, and inevitable, the logical conclusion of everything that had happened in the years before. The final numbers of the season were hard to look at. 34 games, 16 points, only 3 wins, a goal difference of -61. To put that into perspective, the second-place team in the relegation zone that season finished with 33 points. Schalke had less than half of that. This was not a narrow escape that didn't happen. It was an unprecedented collapse for a club of that stature. The last time Schalke had been relegated was 1988. 33 years without dropping out of the top flight. 3 decades building an identity, a fan base, and a reputation within German and European football. All of it come apart in a single season. But what made that moment even heavier was what happened off the pitch. Because while the players trudged off the field, heads down after yet another defeat, 62,000 supporters remained in the stands, not booing, singing. Schalke's fans stayed inside the stadium after the relegation was confirmed, applauding the team, chanting the club's songs, showing that their loyalty did not depend on results. It was one of the most contradictory images football could ever produce. A team that had failed at absolutely everything, being sent off with unconditional love by those who had suffered the most. For many, that scene captured everything Schalke stands for. The club had broken from within. The management had destroyed what took decades to build. The players had lost their dignity on the pitch, but the fans were there, as they always had been, as they always will be. And it was precisely that fan base that, in the years that followed, would become the only fuel left to try and rebuild what had been destroyed.